We've all been there. Your grandma, parents, or whoever asks you to explain a bit of tech to them. You do it over and over again with little to no success. Or maybe you've noticed it in yourself, that learning a new skill or languages came very naturally when you were a kid, but it feels almost impossible now that you're an adult. Which begs the question, are adults already past their prime in terms of learning? Do you need to worry or do something about it? For that matter, how does learning even work? Hi, this is Escape. Stick around and we'll answer all of this and more as we explore the concept of learning and neuroplasticity. Now, before we jump into our adult learning ability, we first need to understand learning on its own. To do that, we need to take a look inside our brains. Here we have small brain cells called neurons that connect together. Information signals are sent between the different areas of our brain along these neurons, and depending on which brain region fires up, different functions will be performed, like perceiving the world around us or the state of our bodies or acting out an appropriate action. Now, when we start learning a new skill, we actually cause the structures in our brains to change in a process called neuroplasticity. Our neurons have a fundamental property to be able to respond to the challenges we face by modifying the strength and efficacy of its signals, which ultimately helps us to better perform a task. Essentially, our brains adapt and learn. Very briefly, some of these adaptations include creating new connections between neurons, pruning the connections we don't need, and strengthening existing connections. These changes help us learn and perform a difficult task with less effort in future. A good analogy for this is, imagine you're trying to find your way through an overgrown forest and you don't know the right route. You might start off by trying lots of routes initially. Some might be better than others, but if you continue searching, you'll ultimately find the best path. Over time, this will become an established trail if you walk on it enough, which will make traveling a lot faster in future, and old paths will be forgotten. I find the strengthening of connections a particularly interesting point. One way this can be done is by covering portions of the neurons with a fatty substance called myelin. This myelination process makes the signal travel a lot faster along the neurons, and in this case faster is better. For this reason, the myelinated cells are also called the brain's superhighway. Also, because of the whitish color of myelin, the brain regions with a lot of myelin are called white matter, as opposed to regions with little myelin called grey matter. So those were some of the mechanisms whereby we learn behaviors and habits. Now, let's visit the burning question of learning as we age. It won't surprise you to know that our brains don't come pre-programmed. We don't know how to type a witty YouTube comment or other important life skills right off the bat. So naturally, our biology is designed to help us catch up on a lot of information and skills from the moment we're born. How? Well, babies are primed to learn. Their brains undergo rapid changes in terms of increasing the amount of connections between neurons. They start off with around 2,500 per neuron at birth, which increases to around 15,000 at age 3. Interestingly enough, by the time you're an adult, this number would have halved, because of the pruning process that your brain also undergoes in terms of cutting off connections you don't need. So babies rapidly increase the amount of their connections, but they also strengthen these connections with a phase of intense myelination over whole regions of the brain between age 0 and 1, and after 1 the changes are more subtle. But generally there are less dramatic changes after childhood, with the exception of one key phase of learning during our teenage years. There is a second critical period of neuroplasticity that takes place in the part of a brain that deals with memory, emotion and social information. This is because as teenagers, the development of our social abilities become crucial. We start dealing with large amounts of social information, what our peers think of us, who my crush likes. We start to become more independent, and we need to be able to successfully navigate the adult world. This crucial brain region is called the medial prefrontal cortex and is one of the last brain regions to myelinate. Our brain basically goes into overdrive to learn everything it needs to function correct in a social sense. Crucially, unlike the development we undergo as babies, these brain changes are triggered by social interaction, not biological. So interactions and social experimentation are crucial during this phase, or no learning will occur. A lack of myelination in the MPFC could end up affecting our lives into adulthood. Now finally, let's look at learning in adulthood and answer the much anticipated question of whether we're past our prime and what to do about it. Now currently, the science tells us that we won't ever have the type of drastic changes that we underwent as babies. Naturally, our plasticity declines with age to stabilize what we've already learned, and this makes a lot of sense. Older people are seen as wise and have already mastered a fair amount of skills and competencies. Although it's important to stress that neuroplasticity does not come to a halt. You can always learn new things. In fact, there are things that you can do right now to increase your neuroplasticity, such as exercise, good rest, enriching your environment with interesting stimuli, reading and learning. Also, cognitively complex tasks such as learning a new language or learning a musical instrument can be especially useful, increasing your overall ability to learn and keep the mind active. Now at this stage you might be asking, why should I care about increasing my neuroplasticity? Well, it's completely up to you whether or not you take the advice to heart, but the benefits are clear. You can get an increased ability to learn new things, it enhances your existing cognitive capacity, and it can even lead to increased recovery from brain injuries or strokes. But lastly, let me give you my personal and philosophical reasons on why you should always be in a learning mode. I'd argue that there is immense benefit from not being bigoted and stuck in our ways, of being able to adapt. And this is of paramount importance in today's society, as we're living in an age of breakneck speeds of technological and cultural advancements. We need to keep sharp. We need to keep on learning. If you enjoyed this video, please watch out for my short video on learning tips or click here for more interesting videos. Please like and subscribe, it would mean a lot. Cheers.